Hello student, welcome to SST class. Today I am going to teach you chapter 6 elections in India. In this chapter we will cover these learning objectives about elections in India, about voting rights in India, about the processes of election in India. Student, as we know that India is the world's largest democracy, and in a democracy the citizens choose their leader who form the government and run the country. How do we choose our leader? We choose our leader through the election. And what is the election? The process of electing the leader is called election. And who takes responsibility for conducting election in India? The Election Commission of India is responsible for conducting election in India. So here we learn that the Election Commission of India is responsible for conducting election in India. Who is responsible for conducting election? The Election Commission. Next, elections in India. How election takes place in India, and who arrange all these things? Who arrange? The Election Commission employs millions of people. Why they arrange millions of people, civilian and security? Why? To run the election. And they also arrange the polling station where in the different part of the country, such as remote village in Himalaya, desert of Rajasthan, islands in Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Next is a major election in India. What are the major election in India? So these are the major election in India. Members of the Lok Sabha, members of the state assemblies, member of local bodies such as municipal corporation, gram panchayat, block panchayat and jila panchayat. These are the major elections in India. And what is the meaning of direct election? What is the meaning of direct election? Where Indian citizen directly cast votes and choose their representative is known as a direct election. Next, voting rights. What is a voting rights? Voting right is based on the principle of universal adult suffrage. What is the meaning of universal adult suffrage? Means voting to right. And the second, any citizen over the age of 18 can vote in an election. So what is voting right? Voting right based on the principle of universal adult suffrage, and the citizen of India can over the age of 18 can vote in an election. Next, we will learn what is electoral roll. What is an electoral roll? A list of eligible voter is known as a electoral roll. And here we see that this electoral roll revised every year. Why this list is revised every year? They add new voters name and delete the name of the voters, those who are passed away. Next, EPIC. What is the full form of EPIC? Electoral Photo Identity Card. And this identity card contains the voters' names, address, date of birth and the photograph of the voters. Next is voting process. What is a voting process? And after once the list of the all the candidates who are contesting an election from a constituency is finalized, the Election Commission either prints ballot paper or arrange for electronic voting machine. And what is the process? The Election Commission either they print ballot paper and the electronic voting machine. Why? To cast the votes. And when the voters go to cast their vote, they cross checks all the things. The voter names should be in electoral roll and they check their voter IDs, and after that the voter can cast their vote through the ballot paper or electronic voting machine. Now here we will learn what is a ballot paper. In case of ballot paper voting, the voter is taken inside a screened compartment in the polling station. She or he makes his choice on the ballot paper. The voter uses a rubber stamp to mark her she preference of near the symbol of the candidate. So here we learned that the a ballot paper is provided to the voter, and the voter will go to the compartment. Over there the voter mark the ballot paper with a rubber stamp near the symbol of the candidates of their choices, and then the voter will fold that paper and will insert in a common ballot box. Next is a electronic voting machine. So this one also machine, and through it the voter can cast their votes, but this was introduced, or we can see this started using in 1998, and before, when this machine was not using when this machine was not here, before the voting was casting through the ballot paper, and after when the election commission started this electronic voting machine, and after that they use this machine for casting. It was started in 1998, and here in 2013 the all election commission and by election were held using this machine. The election commission has the only EVMs for the Lok Sabha and the state assembly election since 2004. So next is postal ballot voting. What is a postal ballot voting? And here we learn that who are allowed to cast their vote by the post, the postal ballot. As you know, the postal ballot, the members of the armed forces of India, members of the armed forces of the police of a state working outside the country here, and the government officials such as the ambassador and the high commissioner of India posted abroad, as well as their staff. So here we learned that who are allowed to cast their vote, and by this why, because they work outside the state and due to some reason they could not come to cast their vote on a time. Therefore these people are allowed to cast their vote by post and polling station. So what is polling station? A place wherein voter casts their vote is known as a polling station. And here we learn that the election commission allow set up a public institution such as a school and community hall, and this community hall and school should be away within 2 kilometers of the residence of the every voter, and this is ensured that a large number of votes are able to vote. The election commission tries to limit the maximum number of voters assigned to polling station. It should not be exceed 1500 voters. Each polling station is open for at least 8 hours on the day of the election. So here we learn that the polling station also arranged by the election commission, where in a school or community hall, and this school and community hall should be away 2 kilometers of the house of the 2 kilometer of the house of every voters, and the voters should not exceed 1500, and each polling station is open for at least 8 hours on the day of the election.